GP Grand Prix debuts in HWM. But what we want to talk about, we've talked about the car. This car is presented in the early pre-Appendix C configuration with the wraparound windscreen as opposed to the full width windscreen. I love its muscular stance, but the muscular gentleman behind the wheel is none other than Mr. Peter Blonde, who's we should be celebrating because Peter was a great supporter and driver in the 1950s. I know he doesn't look that he could have been around in those days, but he's doing extremely well. Goes to the office every day, jogs across the Central Crossing. I've seen him, and it's been my great privilege to have many hot chocolates with him in the morning and hear some of his stories. But I'd like you to hear them today. Peter, I'd love you to tell. Well, you raced this car for a season. Gregor, thank you for bringing the car. And lovely to see you, Peter.
And it was a very carefree time, and good friends, and also no fuss. I think there's too much fuss around Formula One. And just to tell you, when I need some tyres, I used to see Dunlop Mac and give him a fiver, and I got five new tyres. So life was easy, and you know, it was an easy time. You were what's called a Prategear, and it was just you owned the car, drove it to the circuit, pumped the tyres up, put a number on the side. It was considered rather vulgar, have a number on the side, by the way. And then you drove home, and so you could drive probably in 2 or even 3 races in a day. And also I drove production cars, so you had an easy time. My D-Type cost me £3,000, which I bought in Warren Street from a dealer called Bernard Efferson.
So you funded early Formula One, Peter?
Yeah. Bernie, he said you can pay £1,500 down and 15 on the drip. That meant high purchase. And so that was my first dealing with Bernie, who's gone to do rather well, I think. And so, no, that's my car is on sale in America, my D-Type. Cost me £3,000 from Bernard, and I think it will go for $9 million.
A reasonable investment.
My wife said to me, "Why didn't we hang on to it?" And I said, "Well, darling, I hung to you."
I think a wise choice.
I'm still poor, really.
Well, you've driven here in a Bentley today, Peter. I know Richard's a great Bentley man, and you still regularly use your old motor cars. In fact, you made a new acquisition quite recently, didn't you? And
yes, I bought a 20 horsepower. My wife died, and she said, "For God's sake, when I die, get yourself a hobby, otherwise you start chasing women." So I bought a 20 horsepower Rolls Royce, which has been a great success.
I think she'd be pleased with your choice.
I think she would, yes.
Definitely better keep you occupied with the car rather than the alternative.
When I go date, I can't think what to say to people. I finish up by saying, "Would you like a cup of Ovaltine?"
So Greg, it must be a privilege for you. This is a wonderful motor car you brought here, but to have this chap driving it, it's a treat, isn't it?
To have the Peter Blonde in his HWM here is just fantastic. And he hasn't sat and driven this car since 1956, 57, and he just slipped back into it like an old pair, putting on his favourite old pair of shoes. And you know, he's very, very modest, but you know, to beat a world champion like Graham Hill in this car, Peter, on your day you were a formidable competitor, and off the track you're a formidable, lovely gentleman, and we are so honoured to have you here today. Thank you.
Would you show your appreciation, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm 90 years old. Now I tell you one or two advantages, not many. But one of the advantages is you can lie because there aren't enough people around to argue.
Well, Gregor, you brought this car up earlier, and can I say it looked a lot smoother driving up this time. So I think you would acknowledge when you've got the hands of an expert on the wheel.
I don't think they can be better driven than when they've got the original equipped driver in them.
Original equipment. Well done, Peter, organising this. It's great to have such a hero of our industry, a hero of the motorsport here with us in his motor car. Now, here's one for the archive. Well, in 10 years' time, when you drive it again, we can look back on today, can't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for the 100th birthday.
Well, Peter, thank you. It's always a great pleasure to see you. Gregor, thank you. And I think that's the highlight so far. We don't mess around here.
I don't think anybody else do that, would we? Well, that's great.
Oh, what a special moment, a very special person, and what an honour that Peter's joined us here and driven the car, so thank you.
Well, that was a treat then, gentlemen.